Psychic Matters with Théato, the top-ranked spirituality podcast.
Hello everyone, my name is Théato and welcome to episode 117 of the Psychic Matters podcast. Before we begin, a quick favour. If you love this podcast and want to help support it, the best way is by hitting follow or subscribe and leaving a review or a comment wherever you're listening. It truly does make all the difference and it helps other people to find these teachings. And if you are ready to learn how to be a psychic or a medium and you want to take your development further, whether that's psychic work or tarot, maybe mediumship or exploring consciousness, do head over to my website, antheato.com. That's where you'll find all the ways that you can work with me. I've got live Zoom courses where we meet online to explore mediumship and psychic development. I teach remote viewing and past life regression and other fascinating forms of consciousness travel. You'll also find self-paced video courses so you can learn in your own time, plus a collection of beautifully crafted guided meditations, which are perfect for grounding and connecting with spirit and expanding your awareness. If you're interested, of course, in more personalised support, you can book a free discovery call with me to explore one-to-one coaching or mentoring. So take a browse, you might just find something that speaks directly to your soul. All right, let's begin. Mediumship is not just a hobby. It's not something that you try for a little while and then set aside. What I've come to realise about mediumship is that it's a lifelong journey. I wish I'd known that when I first began my spiritual development. If only someone had told me that mediumship requires a really deep commitment and then explained why. When I first started down this path, I thought I was just testing the waters. I thought, well, I might try it for a while and then I'll go back to my normal life. But what I didn't realise was that I was stepping into a world where I now walk with a foot in both realms, the physical world of my human existence and the spiritual world of guides and guardians, spirit friends and communicators. And I had no idea that ultimately I would develop a beautiful relationship with God. But the God at the time when I started out, I didn't really like, and it was a presence that I was desperately trying to escape from. I've come completely full circle on that now. I didn't realise it would take so much time to learn how to use the psychic faculty and the mediumistic faculty. I didn't know it would take so much of my money when I was training. And here's what else I didn't realise. I didn't know I would make so many deep and lasting relationships. I didn't know I'd meet incredible people who got me, people who made me feel seen and understood, people who offered support and kindness and encouragement. People I refer to privately as my tribe or my incarnate spirit family. I have come to understand the kindness of strangers, the support that can be given from my fellow mediums, their gentle qualities and their encouragement, and the beauty that I was to gain from their friendships. I hadn't realised I would not be alone, that I'd never been alone, and that spirit were there for me at all times. Because we turn away so often from spirit, don't we? In striving to achieve so much ourselves, we forget that we're not alone, and that this is a supported path. I hadn't realised I would become so super sensitive to the physical world, to sound, to energy, to emotion, and that this intense sensitivity would help me become more sensitive to the vibrations from the spirit world. I hadn't realised the pleasure I would get from helping other people who used to be lost like me, beginners in psychic and mediumship development, not knowing where to turn to make sense of the world. I hadn't realised at first that what was moving through me was not just my own intuition or my own imagination, but it was the voice of the spirit world, their teachings, their assistance and their truth. I hadn't realised that the core message they were conveying was that life continues, that they are eternal, and that I too am eternal. I hadn't realised that to walk this path truly, I must be prepared to lose the self, the human being whom I loved, and more specifically the ego. It's difficult to be without an ego in a world that so often celebrates self-importance, personal achievement. But mediumship asks for a different way. It does demand a high level of responsibility, it demands ethical conduct and self-awareness, and it requires ongoing conscious effort, and that means showing up again and again with integrity, with humility. And I hadn't realised how sacred this work could be, or how deeply it would ask me to look within myself. I hadn't realised that this connection, while sacred, can be fraught with so many different challenges. Mediumship brings comfort, of course, to those grieving the loss of loved ones, but it also evokes powerful emotions and it brings unresolved issues to the surface. As a medium, I have to navigate my own emotional landscape with care. I have to ensure that I'm genuinely helping rather than inadvertently causing harm. I hadn't anticipated the deep level of sensitivity, empathy, and integrity that would be required to deliver messages with compassion, with clarity. I hadn't anticipated the weight of it. I hadn't realised the potential impact that my words and actions can have on someone's life, and that any message I give can have a lasting effect on the sitter I'm working with. It's like a delicate balance. Every word I speak carries weight. Every interaction can ripple through someone's life long after the session has ended, and other people's lives too, because my words might be repeated to other family members, other friends. So with this understanding comes a deep sense of awe. We are entrusted with so much. I hadn't realised the potential for fraud, for exploitation in this field, whether intentional or not. People who seek communication with their loved ones are often vulnerable, they're grieving, they're searching. And that means it's my duty to approach each session with the highest degree of honesty, respect, and a commitment to the well-being of my clients. I hadn't fully understood the need for self-awareness and personal development, to be so very much in tune with my own emotions, my own motivations, and most importantly, my own limitations. Mediumship isn't just about tuning into the spirit world. It's about maintaining clarity, balance, and emotional resilience in this physical one. And that takes constant inner work. I hadn't realised the necessity to constantly strive to maintain a clear and balanced state of mind. I hadn't realised just how much would be required of me ethically and personally, and how deeply I must commit to ethical standards and to personal integrity. Walking this path isn't something you do casually. It's a serious, lifelong commitment, and one that demands dedication, consistency, and a great deal of persistence, especially when life gets very hard. As I dipped my toe in and began on my path, I didn't realise it would be lifelong and that it would require such huge amounts of dedication and persistence in the face of some really, really challenging personal circumstances. I guess I didn't realise I wouldn't be able to abandon this path. I didn't know I wouldn't be able to walk away, that once you've seen and felt and experienced the truth of this work, the reality of the spirit world, you can't go back. Mediumship doesn't just become a part of your life, it shapes it. Mediumship took over so much of my life, yet I hadn't realised other aspects of my life must continue, and I couldn't become consumed by it. I mustn't let it eclipse everything else, because it's easy to pour your whole heart into mediumship, especially when you love it. Selflessness, great, it's admirable and it's a natural passion, but I've learned over time that selflessness has got to be balanced with self-care. And that true service, well, that includes being there for your friends and your family and your community as well. Gordon Higginson said something once that stayed with me for years after I heard about it. And he spoke a lot about spiritual development. And in his lecture, Finding the Spirit Within, he says, before you can touch the spirit, you must find it within yourself. For all truth, for all knowledge, and all love must be found first within oneself. And the spirit can never touch you and bring love and peace within your being and from your being until you have found it for yourself. And before you can build a picture of love from the spirit, you must learn to find it in this life. And I think that's such an important reminder that to truly serve spirit, we must also serve life, the one that we're living right now. We must stay grounded. We must honour our physical existence, our responsibilities, and our relationships, just as much as we honour our calling. So yes, mediumship is sacred, but it's also human. It's a bridge between worlds, and we are the ones asked to walk it with integrity, with humility and love. The best mediums I know are not just mediums. They are full human beings with families, with jobs, with life challenges that they meet with a great sense of humour. I hadn't realised the importance of training to the very highest standard I am capable of so that I can do justice to the work. Not for ego, but I have a duty to be the best I can be. And this work deserves that level of commitment because I have a duty to spirit, to the people I serve, and to myself to be the very best channel I can possibly be. And I hadn't realised that avoiding fraud, whether intentionally or unintentionally, means holding myself to the highest ethical standards over and over again. It means committing to personal growth. It means being willing to look at myself really honestly. And I'll be honest, that part's really hard. It still is, that self-examination, the questioning, the digging into my motivations. Why do I do this work? What really drives me? Am I in service? Truly? And now I get it. That phrase we hear all the time, mediumship is not to be undertaken lightly. It's not just a warning. It's a truth, a profound one. Mediumship has become more than a practice for me. It is a way of life. It's a spiritual path that asks me to commit deeply to growth, to integrity, and to self-awareness. It challenges me every day. It shapes who I am as a human being. It transforms me spiritually, emotionally, ethically. And it's through this transformation that I've come to understand the sacred nature of the work. Mediumship has called out to me to use my sensitivity, my empathy, and my deep respect for both the spirit world and the world of human beings, and to use those gifts in service to spirit and in service to those still here navigating the human experience and all of its challenges. I continually examine the impact my work has on others, the effect of my presence, the energy I bring, because I hadn't realised when I first began this sacred journey just how enormous this responsibility really is. And yet my heart is in it, fully. My soul is in it. And my deepest, most genuine intent is, and always has been, to serve with love, with truth, and with the greatest care I can possibly give. Take a moment. Take a breath. And if you're on this path too, I invite you to reflect. What is it that calls you to serve? What truths are rising in you? Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. If anything I've shared today has touched your heart or sparked something within you, I'd be so grateful if you could leave a written review for Psychic Matters on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, because your words help other people to find this podcast. And more importantly, they help to grow a community of thoughtful, ethical, and compassionate practitioners. You'll find ways to connect with me over on my website, anteato.com. Until next time, take really good care of yourself. Stay open. Stay curious. My name is Anne Théato, and thank you for listening to Psychic Matters.
You have been watching the Psychic Matters podcast with Anne Théato, the only podcast to push forward the boundaries of human consciousness to redefine the significance of living. Subscribe now so you don't miss future episodes.